Welcome back, fight fans. We're back. I think it's episode 28 now. Who knows? I've lost count. So, first, we're obviously going to be talking about last week, which is UFC Vegas 48. And then, of course, we're going to be talking about this week's UFC Vegas 49. So, let's get it started. As always, with last week's UFC Vegas 48, we'll go through those in order, and then we'll go through that, take a break, and then go through the other ones. So let's get it going. I was expecting this to be even more of a sleeper card than normal. The sleeper card of all sleeper cards, if you will. Meaning I really didn't think this was... I wasn't really sure if this was going to produce the action that we were hoping for or not. And normally I'm like, oh, it's still the UFC. It's still going to be good. But this time I was like, are we going to get there? I don't know. But boy, was I wrong. This was actually seriously one of the best cards of the year so far. It really was. Highlight reel KOs from David Onama and, of course, Jamal Hill in the main event. And we had a Canadian and then a lot of other good fights, but we'll get into those. Let's start with the prelims. The first one, Mario Batista beat Jay Perrin by unanimous decision. And honestly, even though I didn't even know a lot of these people in the prelims, I mean, all the fights were so good. It was just all the prelims were so good. And I mean, the first one, a lot of striking. That's what we love to see. Kicks, elbows, knees, and then even some shoulder strikes in there. We love a good shoulder strike. And the first two rounds were pretty close. It seemed maybe Batista was kind of in control the whole time. He actually landed, I needed to swallow there for some reason. Although he landed slightly less than Perrin did, Batista was landing the harder strikes with some elbows in the clinch, some flying knees. We love a good flying knee as well, of course. And those landed clean almost every time, which is pretty hard to do. So, yeah, just not only was that striking just a little bit better, he also defended Perrin's takedowns pretty easily, got some takedowns of his own and some clinch control. Pretty easy decision win for Batista in that one. The second one, Jonathan Pierce, Christian Rodriguez. We had a lot of striking in the first one, and in this one, a lot of grappling instead to mix it up a little bit. Love a good grappling match as well. And Pierce's game plan was pretty obvious right from the start. He got 4 minutes of control time in the first round alone. And really, the difference in experience on the ground was pretty obvious, and that made a huge difference. And Rodriguez actually almost finished Pierce at one point with a deep guillotine attempt that actually had Pierce gargling for air. You could hear it on the mic. The analysts were talking about it. But then, not much after that. The second round started with some crisp combos from Rodriguez, but then Pierce got him again with that wrestling. And things started to get a little dicey for Pierce in the third. He got hit with a huge elbow and then a couple of combos, got stumbled by that, shot in for a desperation takedown there. You never want to see that. And really, from there, it was just same as the other two rounds with some dominant ground control. Pierce easily won the decision there. Not very close. But again, two very entertaining fights. Even though they weren't necessarily the closest on the cards, they were still very entertaining, especially from people that we've never even really seen before. The next one was actually the first... Wow, coughing already. This next one was actually the first one that I had mentioned, the first prelim that I talked about last time, which was Jesse Strader and Chad Anheliger. I talked about it because Canadian Chad Anheliger from the Contender Series looked pretty good there. He's also been on a 9-fight win streak. I wrote that down. So, I mean, you got a streaking fighter, just came off a Contender Series, and he's Canadian. I had to talk about him, and I gave him the edge. I thought he was going to get a finish here because he actually finished off somebody that was on the Ultimate Fighter as well. So not only did he get his Contender Series thing, but he also beat somebody who was on the Ultimate Fighter in the finale, who almost won the finale. So to me, yeah, I was going Anheliger here for sure. And it was easily the closest fight of the night up until this point. Both of the first 2 rounds were back to back. Neither one of them really had a huge moment, but just based on the numbers and how it looked visually, I said Strader probably won the first round and Anheliger won the second. So 1-1 going into the last. The third was just as close. Both of them got some combos. And then all that changed. Chad landed a big hook to drop Strader. And knowing that those cards could have gone either way, because you got to be in the moment. You got to know the scorecards going into that final round. He jumped right on Strader, got that ground and pound going until the ref stopped the fight with just a minute and a half left in the fight. So he got a great 3rd round TKO win there. Good for Anheliger. And another Canadian win. We love to see a Canadian win. Doesn't happen very often. The next one I wanted to talk about was Diana Belbita and Gloria De Paula. Of course, I was talking about this one because Belbita is a fan favorite. We love Belbita. I love Belbita. She's so funny. You should really follow her on Instagram and Twitter. She's hilarious. But anyway, also, she's like half Canadian. She lives in Canada, trains in Canada, but she's from Romania. So she's an honorary Canadian. So of course I was going to talk about her. Also, she's been doing pretty well. So I gave the slight edge going to Belbita here, but I did say how extremely, extremely even this was. Honestly, this was a complete coin toss to me. I said that in the broadcast last time. Had no idea how this was going to go, but I gave the slight edge to Belbita because of the style match. Oh, actually, no, because of the style, I was thinking De Paula. But because of Belbita's record, it just seemed a little more impressive than De Paula's. I was leaning that way. But, it was so close. And you know what? A lot of people thought Belbita won this one. Honestly, I'm not sure. I might have. I still kind of say that De Paula kind of deserved it here. But anyway, started off dead even, just like we thought. Both of them were throwing some good combos and some kicks. And as the fight went on, really, it was just dead even the whole time. But I thought there was slightly more momentum in favor of De Paula with the control along the fence. So after the 3 rounds, honestly, I couldn't tell at all how these rounds were going to be scored by the judges. So I didn't know going into the last one, especially considering what we've seen recently with the judges. Who knows what they were thinking? So I didn't know. Nobody could say for sure, let's be honest. I had it 29-28 De Paula, and that is what the judges ended up having as well. Unanimous for De Paula. But again, a lot of people did think it was Belbita. I would have been happy either way. I mean, actually, I would have been happier, of course, if Belbita would have won, because that's my pick. Also, I'm a fan. But I totally see why De Paula got the decision there. Just sucks for Belbita there. She's just got to work a little bit more. I don't think it was more than being active. I think she's just got to use the clinching and try maybe develop a bit of a ground game as well. I think that's, it's MMA. You can't just do a striking fight all the time. You got to be well-rounded. And that's really all it is. Because other than that, she's really good. Anyway, after that, Chaz Skelly, Mark Striegel. Very surprising how this one was. Both of them came in very hot with some pretty heavy grappling exchanges to open the fight. The exchanges on the feet and along the fence, pretty even. I will say, I even wrote it down, Skelly seemed to be a little bit ahead just because of his extra strength, and he had a little bit better technique. But honestly, it was so dead even again. Who knows what the judges were thinking. Skelly continued that control in the second round, but it actually ended up being his stand-up skills that got him the win and got a nice ground and pound win. Could be his last fight in the UFC. Honestly, I think he'll be back, but he did say that he's not sure and that he's thinking of ending his career either now or very soon because his body is just kind of giving out. But honestly, I mean, it was a great performance. He got the TKO in the second round. He looked really good. And the analyst talked about it after. When you have a performance like that, you're probably not going to be retiring right away because you want to, you still got it. You just beat somebody. You got a TKO in the second round, It's not like you just got whooped or anything like that. Or even if it was like a close decision win, like you clearly won the fight and you got a TKO out of it. So I think he'll be back. We'll see. Either way, great fight. The next one was the third prelim that I was talking about last time. Jessica Rose Clark, Stephanie Egger, because Clark is a fan favorite. Huge Clark fan. Well, I mean, I guess I'm a huge Clark fan. Why not? I gave her the slight edge because it seemed like she's been getting much, much better over her past couple fights. She just seemed better all around when I was watching her before. I don't really know what happened here, but and let's say, okay, it was pretty even on the feet here. But then after getting taken down, and we kind of maybe figured this was kind of going to happen if you looked at the styles. Clark got in trouble. She got stuck in an armbar. She did get out of it the first time, but ended up getting stuck in another one. And that was it. Submission in the first round. It's too bad. I mean, she's so good. You just hate to see that, a first round loss like that. But very good for Stephanie Egger. Amazing performance, of course. The future, though, I actually wrote some stuff about it after. As I mentioned leading up, both of these were on the edge of the rankings. That was another reason why I featured this one. Also, other than the women's featherweight division, which doesn't even have any rankings, this is pretty clearly, I would say, the weakest division in the UFC. Because of that, we need more talent here. We need more people like Egger and Clark. Yes, Clark just got finished in the first round, but we need more people like her because she's hungry. She's good, and she's so fired up to be that good and in the rankings like that. We need more people like that. And then just to shake up the rankings too. So after this, Egger clearly going to get somebody in the rankings, I would say. I mean, finish somebody in the first round like that, especially somebody as good as Clark, you're obviously getting somebody ranked. But honestly, I could even see Clark getting somebody like that. Maybe not in the next one, I'm not sure, but on a next win, I could easily see her getting somebody like that because Egger's really good. It's not even to say that Clark is bad, obviously. It's just that Egger was that good. So for Egger, I'm thinking somebody like Tate or Chiasson would even be somebody that she could handle. And I know that's in the top 10, but honestly, I think she can do it. I really do. She's so good. And again, no offense to the bantamweights, but that division is kind of weak. So I think she can go and challenge that. But if not Tate or Chiasson, somebody like Dumont or Rosa or Avila, somebody ranked between 10 and 15 would also make a lot of sense. And Clark can easily get back there. One good win and she's right back in there too. So obviously we haven't seen the last of her yet. After that, we had the last prelim, David Onama, Gabriel Benitez. I was thinking about talking about this one in the last stream because I knew I was pretty sure this was going to be a good one. I didn't know it was going to be this good, but I knew it was going to be good. If you weren't awake before this fight, you were going to be awake after this one. That's for sure. It was electric. Every second of the fight was amazing, and it was a very short one, but it was very good. Benitez shredding up Onama's legs, landing quick combos. Onama kept moving forward the whole time, even in spite of those huge leg kicks, to land his own offense. And just as it looked like Benitez was going to take the TKO win after stumbling Onama there, he rallied back, landed over 10 punches. I think they said it was 13 or 14 punches in a single combo, knocked Benitez out cold. I mean, wow, it was crazy to watch. It was amazing to watch. To make it even more impressive, he landed that fight-ending combination with almost no vision. He said after the fight he couldn't actually even really see properly because of the punches to the eye earlier in the round, which is what I was saying. He almost got TKO'd earlier. That's what I was talking about. And he couldn't see after that. And yet he still landed that huge, lengthy combo to get the TKO win. And that was actually my choice for KO of the night all the way up until the main event happened, which we'll talk about later. But that was the KO of the night up until then. But it did end up being fight of the night because even though it was so short, and I don't usually do this because I like to pick fights that are like the full fight, that it was a decision and it was, wow, like it was amazing, like the Giga one with Cater or a Holloway fight, something like that, where it's the whole full length and it's amazing the whole time through. That's what I like to see. And it was heading out to be like that. That's why I chose it. It was crazy every second of the fight. And it was really the only fight on the whole card where I was like, whoa, like, whoa, oh, shit, whoa, whoa, every single time, because it was so crazy to watch. And that is why it was my fight of the night, even though it was less than a single round. So, main card now. Joaquin Buckley, Abdul Razak Al Hassan. We knew this was going to be dead even. I said it and we knew it. I thought one of them was going to get a finish because they're both KO machines. And I think everybody thought that. But I did say, they do have a decent chin, both of them. So you never knew. You never know. But I still thought we would see a finish. Anyway, let's see what we got here. I gave the edge to Buckley. I thought he was going to get the finish because he's got the slightly longer reach. He's 9 years younger. Seemed like he was going to be faster. So I gave the edge to Buckley on this one. And exactly as we thought, these two came out swinging. The only reason this didn't get fight of the night is because it got a little bit slower at some points. That's the only reason it didn't get fight of the night. Anyway, neither man seemed to really edge ahead in the striking. Both of them landed some good ones. But because Buckley landed some takedowns, I thought he won the first round there. And as it went on, I thought the gap started to be a little more obvious. Buckley kind of outstruck Al Hassan while controlling him along the fence and the ground. But then it all changed again. After it looked like Al Hassan was just trying to get through that fight, he came back in the final round, gave it everything he had left, landed some takedowns, used the fence to get some control time, easily won that last round. So I had it going 29-28 for Buckley there. But, I maybe, I did say how close it was. But like I said, because of the takedowns, you kind of had to give the first round to Buckley. The second round was clearly Buckley. And the third round was clearly Al Hassan. So I had it 29-28 for Buckley. The judges ended up being split. Two of them saw it like I did, 29-28. And then one judge had it for Al Hassan. I'm not too upset. It's not like the other ones, especially last week, that we were furious about the results for. No, this one it deserved to, I could kind of see where the judge was seeing it on that one. So split decision win for Buckley. After that, Jim Miller, the veteran Jim Miller, of course, Nicholas Mota. I had Miller going into this, winning by decision, using that experience. Basically, I thought it was going to be similar to what he's been doing the past couple fights, using that experience to kind of just control the offense of Mota here. Little did I know he was going to get another finish. I did not see that one coming. And honestly, I don't think anybody really did. If I would have put money on that, that would have been a huge, huge cash win. As it is, by the way, I told everybody to bet Miller on this one. I put some money on Miller, and I definitely came out way ahead on that one. You're welcome. So we love that. We love a good win once in a while, you know. Another close fight here. Choosing to really show those stand-up skills. I was a little surprised by that because I even mentioned in the lead-up that Miller is so good on the ground. I thought he was going to control along the fence and do that kind of stuff, but he really just stayed up on the feet, and that's all he did the whole time. Very impressive, really. I thought he edged ahead a bit with the activity and the leg kicks. The leg kicks looked good. And just as it looked like he was going to keep that going to get a decision win, Miller landed an absolute bomb on Mota, got another TKO victory, and he now ties Cowboy Cerrone for the most wins in UFC history. Unbelievable. He was my most valuable fighter of the night because of that. I mean, how can you not? How can you not give it to him? I mean, he's been fighting since the UFC started. And here he is still getting those wins. Fought at UFC 100, at 200, and he won't stop until 300. He said that already. Unbelievable. What a guy. And he's still getting TKO wins. Crazy, crazy, crazy. After that, slightly less exciting. Parker Porter, excuse me, Alan Baudot. I had Porter going into this probably by finish just because they're heavyweights. But I said it could have definitely been a decision here because of the way that they fight, because both of them get a lot of decisions. I was saying, Porter here because he carried in an extra 15 to 20 pounds. He does that every time compared to Baudot, I should say. And then what else did I say here? Plus, he's been a little bit, he's got a bit of better momentum. And what else did I write here? That was pretty much it. So I did know, I said it was going to be pretty close here. But yeah, I was leaning Porter probably by finish because they're heavyweights. And this was exactly as close as we thought it was going to be here. Neither of them really landed anything huge throughout the fight. So it wasn't really the most exciting heavyweight fight, that's for sure. It was no Luis Tuivasa, definitely not. But they both had their moments on the feet here. The difference really seemed to be Porter's slight edge in activity, which is what I said going into it, that he looked slightly faster, even though he was a lot heavier. And he got some ground control in that very clearly won him the first round. All the judges saw it 29-28. I had it like that too. So that was another one. I think I only got 2 wrong. So we're doing pretty well here. We're doing pretty well. We had a bit of a rough patch, not going to lie. There was like 4 weeks where we were about 50-50. But since then, we've only gotten a couple wrong. So we're knock on wood here. We're going to keep that momentum going the next couple months. Let's keep going. The co-main, Kyle Dawkins, Jamie Pickett. We all knew this was going to be good. Just before we finished off the night, I won't read that. I'm basically reading my article off, but just parts of it. Let's see. I had Dawkins going into this one very clearly because of what happened in the Holland fight. Of course, yes, it was very short. But if you're being honest and you were watching the fight, even though I'm a Holland fan, Dawkins was very clearly winning that fight. And I mean, yes, he finished him, but it was, of course, after the clash of heads that knocked out Holland. So it doesn't count. And that's totally fair. I totally agree with that. But Dawkins was still winning before that. And because he was doing so well before that clash of heads, I mean, there was no way I was going any other direction than Dawkins here. I thought he was going to go by decision because that's usually what Dawkins does. Plus, Pickett's a pretty hard guy to finish. So that's the way I was going on this one. And right after the first exchange, there was a pretty clear advantage towards Dawkins, both on the feet and in grappling. Right away, landed a great combo, pushed him along the fence. Used those skills really throughout the whole round, got the ground control in, lit him up on the feet. Honestly, it wasn't even close. And just as we thought Pickett was going to get to the second round, 1 second left on the clock, Dawkins gets the submission win. Unbelievable. I thought somehow the refs or something were going to fuck this up for him. But because I knew he had tapped before the thing ended. But you never know. You never know with this. But I'm glad they stuck with it. They gave him the win there. It's just too bad that that Pickett couldn't make it the extra couple seconds. But, you know, we're not in there. He couldn't see the clock. He was getting choked out. You know, who are we to talk? We wouldn't make it 4 minutes and 59 seconds. I know that. So what is next? What's next? He wasn't fighting somebody ranked in this matchup. And honestly, I have no idea why Dawkins wasn't even ranked. Like, he could have even been ranked 15th going into this fight. Give him the 15th spot. I mean, he did technically kind of beat Holland, and Holland is still ranked. Dawkins is not. So I thought Dawkins should have at least been number 15 going into this fight or something. Or they would have given him somebody ranked. Of course, Pickett was a last-minute addition to this fight. It was supposed to be somebody else. But yeah, still, I mean, you can't deny that this guy should be ranked and is going to definitely be fighting somebody ranked next. I mean, you've got to give him somebody like that. I was thinking he should probably still get that fight back with Holland. That's what I think. But Holland will be fighting UFC 272 against Alex Oliveira. So honestly, I think no matter what happens there, I think he should probably fight the winner, to be honest. But I think we kind of all know that that's going to be Holland. That's the way I'm going to be going. I'm telling you right now, my pick is going to be Kevin Holland in that one. But either way, give Dawkins the winner of that. Or maybe even give him Holland if Holland loses. I don't know. I think that fight needs to happen. They said it was going to happen. Both of them agreed to it. They even said, we're going to be fighting each other next time. And here we are. It didn't happen. So whoops, I hit the mic there. I want to see that happen. Make it happen. Okay. And then the main event. Finally, Johnny Walker, Jamal Hill. I didn't really know what to expect going into this because Walker had such a weird, bizarre performance against Thiago Santos. I had no idea what to expect. Were we going to get Johnny Walker, who was just going to do nothing the whole fight? Or are we going to get Johnny Walker from before that, who comes in guns blazing, shooting for a KO? I don't know. You know, none of us knew. So I gave Hill the edge here because of really what he did last time. He's not the kind of person that does what Walker did last time, which is you just go in there, try not to get hit, and kind of point fight, basically. Hill does not play that at all. He wants to go in there and finish, and he will never do anything other than that. So I was going Hill on this one because I wasn't sure what to expect from Walker. Kind of what I thought maybe was going to happen. Walker came out trying to prove a point. I did say he was going to do that. I should have said that. I wrote it down here. Excuse me. Walker came out trying to prove a point here that he's not the boring fighter that he was in the Santos fight. And really, it was looking like neither man could take the... either man, not neither man. Either man could take the win here with those slick combos. They were both looking good. But really, it was just whoever landed the big one first. In this case, it was Hill. Landed a huge one, knocking Walker back, stiff as a board, and landed an extra punch in there, put him to sleep. I mean, he was turned into a meme, really. I mean, that was insane. A lot of memes. I love memes. That was good. There were some good ones out there. So what do we see now? And that was in the first round, of course. What do we see now for Jamal Hill? Clearly he deserves somebody higher up in the rankings, especially since, and I said this before, the light heavyweight division, for sure one of the weakest in the UFC, definitely in the on the men's side, for sure one of the weakest divisions. It's really only the top 3 that are even half decent. Like, you've got Yuri, maybe Glover, maybe if he has a good day, and then the Polish powerhouse, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name now. Jan. He's also half decent, but really the only person that actually scares anybody is Yuri. And that's it. The rest of the division is like, meh. But now with Hill doing this, if he can keep that one going, he could easily be somebody like that has that kind of momentum and that kind of image going as a KO artist, So who should he be fighting next? Honestly, I think it should be Thiago Santos, the guy who Walker did absolutely nothing against, because I know that Hill is going to walk in there like he did in this last one and try and knock out Santos. And that is what I want to see, because we want to see Santos from 3-4 years ago. Nobody wants to see Santos from the last few years because he's not doing anything. He's become a boring point fighter, and that is not who he is. He used to be so good. I mean, he took Jones all the way. I mean, it was amazing to watch. I mean, he's so good, but now he's just a point fighter. I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. So I think Hill will bring back that old Santos, and it'll be amazing to see. That is a main event right there. That I want to see. Or if it's not going to be Santos, which I really think it should be, somebody like, what did I say here? Or was that? Yeah. Somebody like Dominic Reyes would make a lot of sense, because Reyes is on, a pretty rough streak. So I think it's good for both of them. Hill beats a name like Reyes, proves that he deserves to be somewhere, even in the top 5. But if Reyes wins, that gets his streak going back. It gives him the confidence to go back in there after getting honestly messed up his last few fights. So I think that would be great for both of them. So, I mean, really, Hill, either one of those guys would make a lot of sense. Reyes, Santos, that is what I want to see. And I'm sure, honestly, we'll probably see one of those. But yeah, I can't wait. Before we talk about this week's fights, UFC Vegas 49, we'll take a tiny, short, 30-second, maybe 45, I don't know how long this is, a little break. I will see you after this.
Allow me to introduce High Stick Vodka, a new way to celebrate victory. Gather around the glass with an award-winning, ultra-premium Canadian-made vodka. You probably won't listen when I say High Stick Vodka has a smooth, hard-hitting taste, or that it's developed in the birthplace of hockey. You won't listen when I say High Stick Vodka is a tribute to the game of hockey, or when I tell you it's distilled 4 times using Canada's purest mountain spring water to provide an authentic, remarkable flavor. But maybe you will listen when I say it comes in a f***ing hockey stick. Showcase your passion for hockey with our limited edition hand-blown hockey stick bottle. Whether you're celebrating victory or drinking to defeat, High Stick Vodka is better after every shot. Visit us at highstickvodka.com. It also comes in this regular bottle. Celebrate victory. Drink responsibly.
And we're back with UFC Vegas 49. We'll start with the main card, of course. This one was supposed to be a title eliminator in the lightweight division. Sadly, Beneil Dariush was injured. I think it was an ankle injury, so he had to leave. That's too bad. So instead, we're seeing Islam Makhachev, Bobby Green, Definitely not a title eliminator here. At least it shouldn't be. It still should be kind of exciting in that we're probably going to see a wild performance by Islam. So, main card opens up with Gregory Rodriguez, Armen Petrosyan, and both of them fairly new to UFC audiences here. Rodriguez 2-0 in his fights before this. Win over Todorovic and Jun Young Park, who actually I gave a blue bonus to. I gave Rodriguez the blue bonus in his last appearance in October. Crazy KO out of nowhere. I didn't think he was going to win. I thought it was going to be pretty close, but I definitely didn't think he was going to get a KO like that. Great performance. Anyway, Petrosyan has yet to make his UFC debut, but he was on the Contender Series, got an insane KO in the very first round, and not to mention, that was at light heavyweight. This fight is at middleweight. So, despite being the heavier fighter too, Armen actually has a reach advantage of 5 inches here. I think this one's going to be pretty tight. I think this one's actually going to be one of the more entertaining ones of the night, even though most people don't really know who these two are. Both of them kind of chase a knockout here, but really the difference is Rodriguez competed on UFC Fight Pass International in some grappling bouts. So to me, that says that he's comfortable, obviously, with grappling, and I think he carries an edge in that department, I would say. So, either one of them can get a KO here. What was I saying here? Yeah, either one of them can get a KO. That's definitely possible. But I think Rodriguez is going to use that grappling, because this happens a lot in fights. You've got 2 KO artists. Usually one of them starts turning into a grappler and ends up winning the fight that way. I think that's exactly what we're going to see here. Rodriguez by decision. I think he's going to get that momentum along, the control time along the fence, maybe even on the ground, and get the decision win that way. I think that's what we're going to see here. So what are the odds? Bet99, show me the ticker. Let's see. We've got Rodriguez. Where are we at here? Petrosyan plus 136. Rodriguez minus 167. That is totally fair. And I mean, those are great odds to bet on either one here. But like I said, Rodriguez, I think, has that extra tool in his belt, I would say, that grappling. So I'm going Rodriguez here, and at minus 167. Fantastic to pick. What? Oh, shit. I clicked on a thing by accident. Where's my button here? There we go. What's very interesting, though, is actually the over-under on this one. They've got it at over-under 1.5 rounds. Really? I mean, that's crazy to me, honestly. Over 1.5 is plus 108. Under 1.5 minus 137. Like I said, I think this is going to a decision. So it's crazy to me that over 1.5 is somehow at plus 108. That's insane. So I'll be putting some money on that for sure. Those are fantastic odds. I will be writing that in the article. That is for sure. So that's looking good. That's a great betting line already to start off the night. Next, we have Armen Tsarukyan, Joel Alvarez. And honestly, on paper, I think this is the second most exciting one. I think the last one was probably the third most exciting one. This is the second most exciting one, right behind the main event. Tsarukyan is coming into this bout, I should say, with a record of 17-2. Alvarez coming in with 19-2. Insane records for both of them. Not only that, both of them lost their first fight in the UFC and then went on to win their next 4. So this is their 6th fight for both of them, both looking for win number 5 in a row. I mean, that's got excitement written all over it. That's going to be crazy. I cannot wait to watch this one. They're so very similar, but I think one of them has a couple of small things leaning in their favor. Alvarez seems to have he has a slight reach advantage, and he seems to be slightly more experienced on the ground. Not only that, his last win was Thiago Moises. This was just a couple months ago, I think, and he won in the first round against Thiago Moises. That is not easy to do. That is very, very impressive to do. So I think I'm leaning towards Alvarez on this on a decision, because I honestly don't think that either one of them is going to get a finish here. They're both very, very tough. So instead of seeing a finish, I think we're going to be seeing a very action-packed fight with a little bit of ground control and clinch control thrown in there from Alvarez to win a close decision. But as always, when there's that much power flying around, a finish is not out of the question, that's for sure. But I do think that we're probably seeing a decision here. But you never know. Like I said, I don't know. In terms of the odds, fascinating. Tsarukyan, minus 209 on this one. Wow. So I've got the underdog here, Alvarez, plus 166. By the way, knock on wood here, I've been picking the right underdogs the past couple weeks. Just saying. I'm obviously not guaranteeing anything here, but I picked Jim Miller last week. I picked Nick something. The guy who was under Nick Diaz and is wrestling. I can't remember his name now, but I picked him too. 2 underdogs. We're going with another underdog here. Alvarez, plus 166. I'm feeling good about this one. But again, you never know. It's going to be very close. Like I said, very, very close. Over under on this one, 2.5 rounds. Over 2.5, plus 100. I kind of like that. Under 2.5, minus 128. So you really could go either way on this. But like I said, I think that Alvarez is going to be using some grappling thrown in there. So I think that he's going to grind out this fight. And like I said, they're both very, very tough. So I'm not really seeing a finish. Not that it's out of the question, but I think the more likely situation here is that over 2.5. So at plus 100, those are fantastic odds for that. I mean, 2 underdogs here in the same fight. We've got the most unlikely things going. We've got Alvarez and we've got the over 2.5. I'm crazy today. Anyway, next one. I have no idea why this is on the main card. I'm assuming they're probably going to change it. I don't know. Very strange choice to be on a main card. Priscilla Cajuera and Ji-Yeon Kim. I don't know why this is on the main card. Cajuera is sitting at 2-4, which not good. She lost her first 3 in the UFC, came back and won 2, and then she lost. It was actually fairly recently. I think it might have been December. I can't remember. To Jillian Robertson, our Canadian. Lost to Jillian Robertson there. And Kim has gone 3-4 with 2 losses against Molly McCann and Alexa Grasso in her last ones. So honestly, like I said, that's a weird choice for a main card. Neither one of them is on a streak, and they've both had pretty rough careers so far. So I have no idea why they're there, but maybe they'll move it. Who knows? Based on their history, there's really nothing separating these two. I mean, the only difference that I see, and this is what I'm going with on this one, is a huge 7-inch reach advantage in favor of Kim. That's really the only thing that I see that separates either one of these two. So I'm leaning towards Kim. And because, of course, we're in the flyweight division here, I'm definitely going towards the decision here. Just seems like a pretty obvious choice for this fight. So what do the odds tell us? They've got Kim at minus 175, Cajuera at plus 142. Because it's so close, honestly, this is a good chance where you could definitely throw some money on Cajuera. That's for sure. I'm not opposed to that at all. As Yanni the Greek always says, you can sprinkle a little money on that. Because again, when they're that close, Why not bet the underdog when you don't know, when it really could go either way? You could definitely do that. If you're taking my advice about the 7-inch reach advantage, because that is pretty big, you can go with minus 175 with Kim. Minus 175 still isn't too bad. So you could go either way on that. I'm not opposed to either one. The over-under 2.5 rounds here. Of course, minus 200 at over 2.5, obviously. And under 2.5 is plus 157. I mean, so very clearly the choice to pick the over on this one. You could even, pick either one by decision here, whatever you think. Or if you don't know who to pick, like I said, if you're on the fence either way, because I think this is so close, you could just go with the over 2.5 at minus 200 there. You can still get a little money back on that one. And then the co-main, also a strange choice. Strange choice for co-main. Easy choice for main card. Strange choice for co-main, I will say. Misha Cirkunov, Wellington Turman. We've got Misha Cirkunov fighting out of Canada. I don't know if he's actually Canadian or not because he was born in Latvia. Maybe he moved here when he was a tiny kid. I don't know. So I don't know if he's explicitly Canadian, but like Belbita, he lives here and trains here. That's all I know. Squaring off against Wellington Turman. This is a really tight one again, kind of just like the last one, really. Cirkunov been on a rough streak the past few years. Record of 2-5. So that's terrible. But it should be said that all of those, except for the last one, which I'll talk about a little bit, were in the light heavyweight division. This is not at light heavyweight. This is at middleweight. So in his last one, he moved down to middleweight and lost a very tight one. It was a split decision to Christoph Jotko. So that it was so tight. I mean, it was fun to watch. It was a good fight. As for Turman, he's also been on a bit of a rough streak. 2-3 in his last 5. Not great either. And he won his last one to Sam Alvey in a split decision to Sam Alvey. So that's not good either. When you get a split decision win over somebody who hasn't won, who's lost 8 in a row now, that's not good. It's not a good sign. And he got a first round KO loss to Bruno Silva last year. Those were his fights last year. So Turman not looking too hot in this matchup, but like I said, neither one of them is looking that good in this matchup. So it's very tight. I only give the slightest edge in this one to Cirkunov, I would say. Turman is 9 years younger, so he does have that going for him. So there's always a chance there that maybe with later on in the fight, he could tire Cirkunov out. Maybe, he could do that for sure. But Cirkunov, he has a 5-inch reach advantage. And as I mentioned, used to fight at light heavyweight. So that tells me, like I said, Turman might have better cardio. So he might edge ahead in the 3rd round. But I think the first couple rounds, Misha has that clear advantage in striking. He's got the power advantage. He's got the length too. So, and also Misha definitely holds an advantage on the ground. He's got rare submissions with a Peruvian necktie and an arm triangle. Both of them not common, especially that Peruvian necktie. Because honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a Peruvian necktie happen, though, at least when I've been watching. So that's pretty crazy, actually. Both of them he got in the UFC, by the way. So because of those slight advantages on the feet, maybe on the ground, because Turman is from Brazil, he does have some ground experience, but he doesn't have those submissions in the UFC like that. So I'm seeing we're likely to see a Cirkunov win here. In the first 2 rounds, because I could see him getting a submission win here. He's not going to get a KO. He might get a submission there, or maybe a ground and pound, maybe on the ground like that. And I think Turman is going to take over if it gets to the 3rd round because of that cardio. So I'm saying we're probably seeing a decision win here, a close decision win for Cirkunov. I think he's going to win the first 2 rounds. And then Turman's going to come in and probably win the 3rd. That's what I think is going to happen. So what do we see in the odds? They've got the odds at -123 for Cirkunov, plus 100 for Turman. So they've got it very even here. Because of those slight advantages, I would say Cirkunov. I mean, you could go either way on the odds here, but because it's actually like almost dead even, because of the advantages that I just said, I would definitely recommend Cirkunov on this one at -123 because he's just got a lot more going for him. The over-under on this one, very interesting, and I will definitely be taking advantage of this. It's over-under 1.5 rounds, which to me is actually very surprising considering neither one of them has really been doing that well, and neither one of them really has a whole bunch of finishes. So that seems strange to me. -172 for over 1.5. That's what I'll be doing. Under 1.5 plus 133. Yeah, that's over 1.5 all day. All day I'm picking over 1.5 on that one. In the main event, we've got the main event here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to watch this. This is really, honestly, I mean, I don't like saying this, but it's true. It's really the only fight on the whole card that most people are looking forward to because it's really the only two names that a lot of people recognize here. Not me, of course. Like I said, I do think this is the best, the most going to be the most interesting of the, well, most entertaining of the night. But I also told you about all the other ones that look really good. But like I said, all the casuals out there, they're going to be looking at this one. That being said, this is also very clearly, not even close, the most one-sided fight of the night. And it's actually, I would say, quite easily the most one-sided fight of the year so far. And there's no competition for that. It's very clearly the most one-sided. I mean, there's a reason Islam was supposed to fight Dariush here. This was supposed to be a title eliminator. It was going to be number 3 against number 4. Now we've got number 4, Islam, against somebody who's not even ranked, who had literally just fought 2 weeks ago. So not only is he not even ranked after getting a win last time, he also is probably still a little bit banged up, a little bit tired from his fight literally 2 weeks ago. And he's fighting whom a lot of people think is probably going to be the next champion or even should be champion right now. I don't think that. I think Oliveira would definitely have a tough time with him. I don't know how that would go, to be honest. I think Islam might actually win that one. Yes, Loki, we all know you're here. What was I going to say? My dog distracted me with that. Wow, he really threw me off. He does that a lot. But yeah, I mean, Islam is so very clearly favored in this one. He's got the Dagestani wrestling. He's got Khabib's help. I mean, that should not be understated in this. I don't like to say that because then people think, oh, he just loves Khabib. Honestly, I don't really. But it can't be understated how helpful that is because since Khabib retired, Islam has only been coached by Khabib since then, of course. And not only that, he's gotten 3 submission finishes since then. Before that, he was really only getting decisions. But since Khabib joined his corner, he's gotten 3 submission wins in a row, including a first-round finish over Dan Hooker, which was absolutely insane to watch. I saw the replay again just today or yesterday or something, and it was crazy. It was just crazy to see. And you could see the coaching in Khabib, too, because they had him mic'd up, of course. To hear what he was saying too, it was like, oh my God, like it's crazy to see. And he's just that dominant. And not only that, because they did this at the last minute, they switched it to catch weight, which is at 160 pounds this time, which gives Islam an even bigger advantage because he doesn't have to cut down 15 to 20 pounds because he's not walking around at 155. He's walking around 170, 175, probably sometimes even 180. So he doesn't have to cut down to 155. He's only got to cut down to 160 here. And he was planning on cutting down to 155 to fight Dariush. So he doesn't even have to worry about that anymore. So he's going to be stronger than normal. Plus, he's got all that coaching help. I mean, it's so wildly one-sided in this one. Very clear choice as an anchor to the parlay here. This will be in all of the parlays, of course. And you'll see why as well in the odds here. I mean, it's so crazy here. They've got it at minus 800 for Makhachev, plus 533 for Green. And again, that makes perfect sense. Because I just can't even see Green getting out of the second round. He might be able to get out of the first round, maybe, but I can't see him getting out of the second round after that. And this is a 5-round fight. So, I mean, I do not see any realm of possibility. I mean, maybe a miracle happens on the level of Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena that Green gets out of this and it makes it to a decision. But yeah, Makhachev is just so much better, and stylistically, horrible matchup for Green as well, because he is really on the feet all the time and he doesn't really go on the ground. And Makhachev is perfect against those fighters. He just throws them along the fence, gets them to the ground, and dominates them. And if you're not also a wrestler, you're screwed, which is why I think Oliveira is going to be a very interesting matchup for him in the future, because I honestly think he's going to get there within this year. It's going to be Oliveira and Islam for the belt at some point this year. And that'll be very interesting. I don't know how I'm going to go with that one. We'll see based on how Islam does in his next couple ones. But yeah, I mean, but against a pure striker like Green, he's going to walk right through him. And I love Green. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be mad. I would be ecstatic if Islam loses this fight somehow, because a lot of people don't like him very much. And everybody loves Green. I love Green. So yes, I want Green to win, but I'm being realistic here. Islam is for sure going to just smoke him, just walk right through him, get a first or second round submission here, maybe ground and pound. You never know. So that is where the money comes in for me. I don't know if they have the odds up yet for that. Let me see. No, they don't. But near the end of the week, I put my bets in on Friday, as everybody should. I think you should put your bets in on Friday, because then you don't have the weigh-ins conflicting with everything. The weigh-ins are done. You know the odds. Then you put your bets in. That's what I do. That's what I recommend to people. But you can do what you want. If you don't have time later, do it now. But yeah, they don't have those odds up yet. So, but I will say when those odds come up, as I was going to say here, I'll be putting it on a first or a second round, probably, finish for Makhachev here. And then you can hopefully get some money out of it. Squeeze some money out of this minus 800 favorite. Good Lord. And, you know, they're probably going to put a submission win in at like minus 200 or minus 100. Even do that. Like, get something going here. Get some good momentum going. We'll see. We'll see what they put in. But yeah, that's the only way to get money out of this one. And of course, like I said, put it as part of a parlay. I mean, minus 800 isn't going to do much, but it brings those odds of the other ones down at least a little bit. You know, it makes it slightly better, slightly more interesting, you know? Before we go, I've got a couple of quick prelims I want to talk about. There's 2 this time, and both very exciting. Honestly, I would rather watch these 2 than a couple of the ones on the prelim. I mean on the main card, honestly. The first one, Terrance McKinney, Fares Ziem. This was supposed to be done in December, I believe. Maybe it was even November. I didn't write down. I just said that it was a couple months ago. This one was exciting back then, and it's exciting now. We had McKinney was going for his 5th first-round KO in the same year. It would still be impressive if he did it this time. Obviously, it's not within 2021, so you can't say that he got 5 within 1 year. But still, to get 5 first-round KOs in a row, that would be cool. That's why I'm featuring this one, because that would just be insane to do. So as I said, last year, you got 4 first-round KOs. Unbelievable. Only one of those was in the UFC, though. But, I mean, when you're knocking people out that quick, and he got, I think it was 15 seconds. It was either 7 seconds or 15 seconds. I can't remember. Got that KO in the first round in his UFC debut. So we all can't wait to see what he does next. I mean, it's going to be great. On the other side, I don't know if it's Ziam or Ziam. I think it's Ziam. He's heading into his 4th UFC fight. He started out with a loss, then got an impressive win over Jamie Malarkey, and then he got a majority decision win, a tight one over Luigi Vendramini. So, I don't know. I would say this one is it's kind of close. It's kind of close. They're a similar age. They've got a similar reach. So really, this one's going to go based on the recent performances and their styles of fighting. McKinney, obviously a power puncher here with all those first-round KOs, but Ziam tends to win by drawing the fight out to decisions, by pushing it to the end there. Plus, he's never been finished by KO or TKO. He's been finished by a submission, but that's not what McKinney does, so he's not worried about that. But never by KO or TKO. So that's why this is a very interesting matchup, and it really could go either way based on that specific thing. So we have a couple of very interesting questions here. Will McKinney's power be enough to finish him? That's my first question. Who knows? Who knows? Will it be enough to finish him? Because he's never been finished before. That's question number 1. Question number 2, if he can't finish him, can McKinney keep up with that pressure and power all throughout those 3 rounds to win in a decision? I don't know. And that's the uncertainty in this fight. It's very interesting. And honestly, we won't know the answer until we see the fight. We don't know if McKinney can last the whole fight. We don't know if Ziam can hold up to that power because he's got 4 first-round KOs in his last one. We don't know. There's so many unknowns in this that it's unclear as to where this is going. I will lean towards a McKinney finish, but I could see it being a tight decision if it goes the distance, because I think probably with all that explosive power, I would say McKinney's going to win the first round. Probably. That's what I'm thinking. And if it goes past that, I'm not sure. Will McKinney be able to continue that? I don't know. I think Ziam probably wins the 3rd round no matter what happens. But that 2nd round, huge toss-up. Complete unknown. I have no idea. That's why I'm going with McKinney by finish here, because he's got so much power. I think he can do it. The odds here, plus 105 for McKinney, minus 128 for Ziam. I mean, I'm going to talk about this on YouTube eventually. I've got a whole series of betting tips coming out, and this is going to be one of them. And I've talked about this before. I actually talked about this earlier. When odds are that close, and even the fighters, when you've been doing all the research, it seems that close, usually smarter to go with the underdog because you just get a better payback, really. There's a better return on your investment there normally. So I'll be going with McKinney either way on this. I think he could easily get a finish. And just statistically speaking, it's better to go with McKinney at plus 105 because they're that close to go with the underdog. So all around, it kind of makes sense to go with McKinney on this one. Over under on this one, over 2.5 rounds at plus 120, under 2.5 at minus 150. Those are very interesting odds considering the favorite here is Ziam. And Ziam's not finishing McKinney. I'm sorry. That's probably not going to happen. So, basically it depends on who you think is going to win here. If you're going McKinney, I would definitely go with under. If you're going Ziam, the over is definitely the better way to go. And at plus 120, that's a pretty good betting line if you're going for Ziam on this. So it really depends with who you're going with on here. I don't know. I just don't know about this one. I would say because I'm going with McKinney by finish, I would go with the under because minus 150 for a KO artist who's gotten 4 first-round knockouts in a row, that's very intriguing. Minus 150 for under 2.5. That could be good. That could be good. The final one we're going to talk about the other prelim I want to talk about, Ignacio Bahamondes back again. I talked about him before in the broadcast, even though, again, he was on the prelims. This guy is so exciting. I'm a fan. I've been a fan of him since his Contender Series fight. He's gotten 2 fights since then. Lost his first one in a very, very close split decision to Makhachev. And then he got a huge highlight reel wheel kick KO with 5 seconds left against Roosevelt Roberts in his last one. He is so entertaining. Even when he doesn't win, like even when he lost in that split decision, he is in there. He is in there. He doesn't care about getting bloody. He doesn't care about getting pieced up a little bit. He goes in there trying to get the finish, trying to win at all costs. And that is what we want to see. On the other side, Zhu Rong, definitely less exciting, but exactly the same results. He's gone 1-1 so far. So they're very similar in their fighting styles. If you look through their records, they both go for KOs in all their fights, and neither one of them does any kind of thing on the ground at all, really. So normally, and I mentioned this earlier, with experienced fighters, that means that one of them will usually try and clinch more to win the decision. But both of these guys are very young. Bahamondes, I think, was 24. Rong, I believe, was 21 or something. So both of them very young. They're actually younger than I am, which is crazy to say, but they are. They're both under 25. And they're not very deep into their careers. So I don't think they're going to be going for any clinches at all. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of stand-up. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of blood in this one, at least a little bit. I'm excited for that. We love a good bloody fight once in a while, or just all the time, you know? So I think this is going to be a very entertaining one. I think it's going to be a close one, but I am going to Bahamondes because he's got a couple of slight edges here. What were the edges here? I had them written down. He's got the slight edge in reach. Plus, he's fought slightly tougher people if you look at his record, and he's been noticeably improving every fight. He really has. Especially if you see him on the Contender Series, he's been getting better each time. So, and also this matchup favors him. It's not somebody that's going to push him along the fence and wrestle him. That's not who Rong is. So this matchup really favors him, especially being that he's such an amazing striker. So yeah, this favors him. The one thing that I will say is that Zhu has never been finished by punches. So that tells me that obviously he is very tough on the feet and can take a very good punch. So even though Ignacio clearly has a lot of power, I think we're probably seeing a decision win, and that's what I'm going to go with here. Bahamondes by decision. That's what all things point towards for me. What are the odds here? What are the odds here? Where is it? Bahamondes. There we go. They've got Zhu at plus 180, Bahamondes minus 225. I think that's a little skewed. I think it should be a little bit closer than that, but minus 225, Bahamondes, that's still decent. I'm going to go with that one for sure. The over-under on this one, over 2.5, over-under 2.5, minus 158 for over, plus 122 for under. I think that's pretty fair. I would still be, I could still see myself betting at minus 158 for under 2 or over 2.5. Because Rong has never been finished by punches there. So I think that stamina will probably kick in again here, and we'll see another decision. Plus, like I said, Bahamondes, I mean, he was basically in a decision last time, one with how many seconds left? A few seconds left. And then decision before that. Rong gets a lot of decisions. So we're probably seeing a decision here. That's a good choice. Over 2.5, minus 158. That is it. That is it for the stream. That's it for the whole card. We'll see what happens on Saturday. I can't wait. And then after that, I could be wrong in this. I can't remember. No, I think Is it? I'm trying to think if wait, hold on. I can check here. I believe after that, we're seeing, yeah, after that, UFC 272 is the week after. So next Wednesday, that's what we'll be talking about. A very exciting UFC 272, Covington Masvidal. And the rest of the card looks absolutely fantastic. What have we got here? Oh, it says it's on March. Yeah. I think that adds up. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Who knows? We've got RDA going against Fiziev. That was originally scheduled before. Barboza and Mitchell. That's great. I talked about Kevin Holland earlier. We've got that. Hopefully we see Greg Hardy lose another one in spectacular fashion. That would be nice too. So many good fights. Oh my God, we've got Brian Kelleher back against Umar Nurmagomedov, which I believe is Khabib's cousin here. So good fights all over the card. I can't wait for that. If you want to hear about any of the other sports, take that ticker away. If you want to see any of the other sports, Area 51 has got you covered. I'm the MMA guy here. You can follow me anywhere. It's down in the description below. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited to see what happens on Saturday. I will see you next time. We've partnered with Bet99. You can follow the link that I was literally throwing down there at the bottom the whole time. And it's also in the slide there after. You can get a bonus for signing up with us through Bet99. I will see you next Wednesday. I can't wait to see what happens. See you next time.